Today on the channel, we're back at it again with another Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Super 7 Ultimate Edition unboxing and review. In today's video, we got Lord Zedd, and we got Lord Zedd's throne.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Super 7 Ultimate Edition Mighty Morphin Power Rangers unboxing and review. In today's video, Lord Zedd and his throne. But for all your Super 7 needs, head over to super7.com. Use code KYLEP at checkout. And of course, you can also go to the entertainment earths of the world, Big Bad Toy Stores, link in the description down below. Pick up your Super 7 Ultimate Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures wherever toys are sold. There you go. But today we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And Lord Zedd, man, business picked up. I didn't have a problem with Rita Repulsa when I was a little kid. She was a good villain. She was all there. But once Lord Zedd came in, I said, oh my gosh, what is this guy? It looks like he's wearing a meat suit and his brain's showing. This is my kind of guy. Of course, being a kid that loved horror movies, things like that. A little bit more scary, a little bit more frightening than Rita Repulsa was. And of course, they teamed up and the rest was history. We know all that kind of stuff. But when Lord Zedd first came on the scene, business truly picked up. And very cool of Super 7 to get us a little throne action here. I know it's kind of nice they're separate. You could buy these separately. You don't have to buy them together because some people, hey, I don't need the throne, don't have room for the throne. Others, I just want Lord Zedd, whatever. But it's nice if you do want the throne, you can buy it separately. You can get this for your Lord Zedd. Really builds out the Power Ranger universe in a lot of ways here with the throne. This isn't the first throne we've seen from Super 7 as well. They're here to give us stuff like that every once in a while. So I found that to be very, very cool. We'd love to see Serpentor in his throne one of these days. We'll see if Super 7 can come through with that maybe in the future. We'll see what happens. But let's start this off and let's look at the packaging on both of these. Then I'm going to take them out of the package. But we're going to start with the throne real quick. There it is, a little square box here, just a little cube action, but very on brand, fits with the packaging design, lightning on both sides there, classic Ranger logo, big window box right here. If you ever come across this throne, maybe you can give it a paint pen or something and it can sign the front of it for you. I don't know. We'll see what happens there if you're lucky enough to find this throne one day. But looking really nice in there. It's just a throne though at the end of the day. It's basically a glorified accessory is what you could say. Or maybe a vehicle, who knows, who knows. Ultimate Edition there, nothing too fun there. Really just kind of is what it is. On the back, you got Lord Zedd just chilling, getting ready to hit his remote control, turn on the football game or something. Who knows what Lord Zedd's up to. But very cool to get that throne. And like I said, we'll take that out of the package here in a little bit. But let's look at the figure for Lord Zedd. Look at that, looking only like a Lord Zedd could look. Big window box there, Power Ranger logo down low. Lightning on both sides. Very skinny packaging on this one, I will take note of that. Looking good. You got Super 7 Ultimate Edition up top. A lot of accessories with him as usual. Ultimates over there. Nothing fun down here. On the back, get a little glamour shot. I think that was his high school picture, if I remember correctly, right there. And then you got the blurb down low. Let's see what it says about our old friend, Lord Zedd. The one true leader of the evil space aliens, Lord Zedd banished Rita Repulsa after her many failures. To take matters into his own hands, deploying a hostile takeover of the Moon Palace. Lord Zedd is a thunderous threat, merely sitting on his throne. Wielding his matter-manipulating Z-Staff, Zedd can create his own Z-Putties and transform any common object into a dangerous monster. Along with growth bombs to make even the smallest problem Megazord-sized. Lord Zedd is a one-man army ready to take on the Power Rangers. And I'm ready to take on this review, so let me take it offline, get these out of the package, and we'll be back talking Lord Zedd and his throne. Alright, let's get down to business with the Super 7 Ultimate Edition throne and, of course, Lord Zedd. And let's start with the throne, the biggest accessory here. We'll work through the accessories, then work into the figure. But we do get the throne. Very lightweight, not super heavy here. Feels like an upper class 3D printed model in a lot of ways. A lot of people 3D print stuff like this, but a lot of people don't have that technology at this time. I know I don't. I wouldn't even know how to go about doing it. But people could do this at home if they wanted to, but they're taking that out of their hands. You're getting a professional one here. It's all smooth. It's all nice. So it's definitely worth the cost. I think the time and energy to 3D print your own would probably take more time than it would be just easier to just hand over the $50 and buy the throne at the end of the day. But it does look very cool. Very minimalistic, very basic looking until you really look a little closer at it, as you got all that detail in the back here. Of course, the back where he sits. You got the chair here. You got the ornate kind of feet on this one. You got a little claws down here on the end, a little bird face, a little red against all that gray. It's got the dark wash over it. Looks like this isn't a brand new throne. This throne's traveled around with Lord Zedd for a long time. Even got some sculpted in cracks and some wear and tear on it, which I think looks pretty cool. You got some of that same stuff all over the sides as well. Then on the back, you got the Z on the back. I guess it's probably for Zordon, really. Or maybe it is Lord Zedd. Who knows? But you do got a Z. Not a lot of people with the Z name. Maybe it's for a zebra. Who knows? Who knows? But you got the Z on the back, knowing it's Lord Zedd. But it does look pretty cool, and definitely you could use this with somebody else if you really wanted to. I could see some people saying, hey, this would be great in this toy line, things like that. You could easily do that with this one if you really wanted to. But nice for what it is, really completes the package of Lord Zedd. And once again, I like that Super 7 separated these, because I think some people would be turned off if they had to buy them together because the price point would have been too high. So I think it was a smart move on the Super 7 team to separate these two. But now let's dive in here. And I guess we'll start off with all these hands. Lord Zedd, he's not messing around. He's got every hand you could ever want going on here. First off, you got two maniacal maniac hands. Always love these. His hands always kind of remind me a little bit of Freddy Krueger too. Of course, Freddy Krueger had the long kind of knives going on the glove, as we do know. But he's got the silver, really sharp claws going on. They're a little bit longer, almost gives you that Freddy Krueger effect there. Just a little bit shorter. And then you got that red, which I just imagine him walking around like all of his skin was removed. Like they took acid and removed all of his skin, and that's what he looked like. That's kind of what I did in my head, and I still do to this day with Lord Zedd, I guess. But looking really good. I just imagine this kind of internal red, just his blood and like his underneath his skin is what I imagine as. But you get the maniacal hands there. No fist over there. You better have a... Oh my gosh, Lord Zedd. Oh, I was going to say no fist for Lord Zedd, whatever we're doing, but he does thankfully have two fists. I'm trying to think, did Lord Zedd ever fight? It seemed like he had people do it for him all the time, which really tells you not a true leader like my boy Flint. He'd go out there on the front line. We all know Flint would. But Lord Zedd kind of managing for the background is what he's doing there. But he just got two fists of furies if things do go down, if things do go south. We do get one more maniacal hand here if you're into that. And then we do get a finger pointing hand. You know me, I love a good finger point. What you gonna do, brother? What are you doing? I'm gonna poke you in the chest, gonna poke you in the eyes, gonna pick your nose. Do whatever you need to with this finger. But I'm here for that one. I like that. Gives a little extra detail. It looks like you'd have him with the staff in one hand telling you, hey, get after it. Go after that guy. And then you get classic gripping hands. You got the side to side and the up and down. We got both of those going on. So choose your own hand adventure, as we always say. We do get the monster growth bombs, the grenade type bombs here. We get 3 of them, all identical. Almost look like a little hamburger is kind of what they look like. Silver chrome color with a little black strip in the middle. Very on brand for Lord Zedd. I can see him holding one of those with that splayed out hand if you need to. Now he does come with a snake, and I think there was a couple episodes where he had a snake in him. He's really, at the end of the day, just like a young Jake the Snake Roberts. Shout out to Jake Roberts. But you do get a big old snake with him here, and I guess you could use this with Jake Roberts if you wanted to. Maybe your LJN even. Who knows? But a nice looking snake. Definitely on brand for a snake. I thought this was going to be straight up all bendy wire. It is not. It's just kind of a movable plastic. Not super bendy. It has movement to it, but just not that it's going to stick in shapes and stuff. But it does look very, very good. On brand, once again, for Lord Zedd, having a big old snake just chilling on his throne. Or you can have this as a snake leader if you want to. You can just sit on his throne by himself. How about that? So we got that going on. Then, of course, the iconic Lord Zedd staff. You got the big Z at the top. He's into himself. He loves that big old Z. Got the big old dagger knife kind of here. If he needs to turn it around and go at people, he can do that. Or he can stab somebody right in the head if he needs to. On brand, though, all silver, chromish color, looking really good. On brand for old Lord Zedd. Now we get down to Lord Zedd. Let's look at these two head sculpts on him. First one I noticed, he's got that big Z. Man, that horn is going on for days. That is a long horn up the top with the Z up there. Of course, the classic brain showing from Lord Zedd. You got to have that. Got the big old red visor across the top, and then you got the very mechanical looking front mask going on there, and you got all those kind of metal teeth going throughout on there. Looking nice, looking crazy, looking like Lord Zedd. Of course, the back connects down into the spine here. Very on brand. Somebody hands me this head all day long. I know it is Lord Zedd. Now, the second head here, boy, really not a lot of differences between these heads. It's the identical same head across the board. The only difference here is the visor. That is the only difference I am seeing. I thought at first kind of the horn antenna at the top is a little shorter. It is not. It is the same. Do you like a darker red visor or an orangish visor? Really, at the end of the day, you choose your own adventure. I guess one's kind of the way it was, and one was kind of classic toys, I guess is what we'll say. But really not a lot of meat on the bone between those two. I would have been fine if they just gave us one or the other and nothing else. But it's nice we get our options. It's nice to get options there. So that's the accessories. Now we're diving into old Lord Zedd. And very interesting, as we've seen this before, but we've never seen it quite like this, as we got this clear piping. It's almost like a straw. It's one of those loop-de-loop straws that kids have, and my kids have, throughout his whole body. So you have that going on throughout. Usually that's sculpted in. It's not kind of loose floating here, so that makes it feel a little bit different than all the other Lord Zeds over the years. And then they just plug in into some holes in his forearms and all over his body. They just plug in there. So that is a different look on him. Of course, those could slip out. You got to be mindful of those when you're moving them around with articulation. You could move those out of and jostle them or whatever might happen. So be extra careful when moving that around. The body style looks like Lord Zedd. Just like the head, I know who this is all day long. Looks like he's wearing that meat suit. You can see all the muscles on him and then all that silver armor all over the place, down to the hands, forearms, biceps, legs, thighs. He's got some nice silver underwear going on. You got his spine in the back. His spine's all aligned right now. And then you can disalign his spine if you want to. But he does have that going on as well, looking nice. No real issues with anything. I don't see any pain app problems. Don't see any issues with anything there. At the end of the day, it's Lord Zedd. There's no mistaking this guy for anybody else, if you ask me. But articulation, arms do go all the way around, and then that's one of the things. You move the arms all the way around, it does get that hose kind of trapped in there. So you got to be mindful of that. You got to be wary of that. This isn't a guy you're going to be Spider-Man stuff with. You just got to watch out for those hoses across the board. So we do got that. We do got the bicep cut, of course. I got a little extra plastic on mine. It's kind of flaking off. It's a little extra that wasn't cut off, removed, whatever you want to say. I'm going to get that. There we go. Falling on the table there. But we do got that around the bicep. You do get the side-to-side at the elbow, single-jointed elbow, per the course with Super 7. You do get the hands back and forth, side-to-side. Hands removable, very sharp on the fingertips, like I said. And right there, I moved something around and one of those hoses fell out of the hole. So you just got to be a little mindful of that. I don't know if you're going to be having him in big battle positions, things, but he could lose some of that stuff very easily. So just make note of it is what I will say. Now we do get the head, of course, up and down, side to side. A little bit more movement out of that head than I expected, especially in the down position. So we do have that. Head is removable. Waist articulation. You do got those Zord splits. Lords. You do get... You do get those Lord Zedd splits. Not super deep for him. Legs do go up. You do get a single jointed bend at the knee. You do get the side to side. You get the ankles up and down. So usual articulation with Super 7 continues right here. You just got to watch out for all that piping. It does look a little strange in the crotch area where the legs connect to the crotch. I've seen that before. I remember the Lightning collection, which I do not own anymore. I always thought that kind of had a weird piece, and I think it really comes down to Lord Zedd just has a weird crotch. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe ask Rita Repulsa. Maybe she knows something about it. I'm not sure. But it definitely does always look weird. And even going back to the original toy back in the way olden times, the old Bandai times, I always thought it looked a little strange. So maybe it's me. Maybe it's not Lord Zedd. Who knows? But I do think that always does catch my eye and always feels a little bit and looks a little bit different to me. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save 10%. Make sure you get the Mattel stand. What do you know? Fits perfectly on the stand if you need that. I'm going to grab this throne here. Going to knock this stuff off. And we're going to sit him in this throne real quick. We'll get some pretty glamour shots of him in the throne. But it is made for him. He should fit pretty good and seems to be a pretty good fit. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. Lord Zedd, Lord Zedd's throne, he better fit in this thing. But Looking good. No real issues with Lord Zedd here. He is a heavy hitter. He is a must-have character if you're collecting Power Rangers. At least for me, he is. You got to have Rita. You got to have Lord Zedd. You probably got to have some putties, and you at least got to have a Goldar. That's how it is for the villains. Then you can branch off from there if you want to. But I think that's the core that you got to have, at least in my book, and from where I sit, and as you guys know, right here at this very table. But Lord Zedd looking good. I'm happy I got this in my collection. But what say you? Are you here for this Lord Zedd? Is it a pass? Is there not enough meat on the bone for you? Let me know your thoughts on this Super 7 Ultimate Edition Lord Zedd figure and his throne too, I guess, while you're at it. Of course, don't forget about the Patreon channel. We got early access to all the videos here on the channel. Make sure you head over to Patreon, your best way to support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to both YouTube channels. And don't forget about SirPaul64 on the X, Instagram, Threads, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the mighty Lord Zedd, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.